You see a red mark there? A little bit of a bump on the head. Why the different brushes make a difference depending on what paint you use. I mean, I literally painted everything. I'm back and I've decided I'm definitely going to give those top cabinets a try, because I have seen half and half, so I'm going to do the top half and then see how I feel. I know what I'm like, I'll probably end up doing the bottom half as well. But I've taken these ones down because they will need a slight sand just to key the top, and I don't want to do that for the top cabinets. The bottom ones, if I choose to do them, I will actually leave those on and give it a light sand and actually paint them on the cabinet. There's no reason to actually take them off. But the top ones cause a little bit more of a mess. So yeah, so I've taken them down. Well, let's get prepping. So this is future editing me. Now, when I went to look at my footage from yesterday, you know me, I got that dodgy camera ever since I dropped in IKEA that time on a Vlogmas video. It didn't record most of my things yesterday, but as I was going over the footage, I had enough to show you how I painted the cabinet. So if you're kind of wondering, the only thing that it didn't record that I did after was you saw me brushing the primer onto the cabinet. What I did do later was use a roller. I used a brush for the indents and then I rolled it, because what I found was doing it with a brush actually would have taken far more coats. Doing it with a roller only took 3 coats. So that to be said, what I would say is though, when you're using a roller, use a really fine gloss one, and then when you roll it on, once you put all the paint on, let the roller just rest on the paint and pull it gently back and forth, and that will burst all the little paint bubbles, which will give you a smoother finish. Now, I rolled all the cabinets in the end. Every single one was rolled for primer, but when it came to the finishing coat, I didn't. I used a brush, and that was the one bit of footage that I wanted that was missing, was where I explained about the brushes. So I have said before that I've painted many things over my time. I mean, I literally painted everything. I think you name it, I've painted it. Metal, plastic, cabinet, upcycled, you name it, I painted it. And I've gone through so many paints. I did touch on this in my last video, but it's worth going over again, and why the different brushes make a difference depending on what paint you use. Now, for furniture, even for the kitchen when it was grey, I used Frenchic. Like I said, 3 different ones. The original range I don't use. I find it too difficult because you've got to prime it, seal it, and it's not as smooth. If you're painting furniture, use the lazy range. If you're painting something that needs to be a bit more durable, use the alfresco. What I would say is both the lazy range and the alfresco range, and this also actually is a Frenchic brush. As you can see, it is a oval, densely packed brush. This is the largest one. I also have medium and a small. The reason it's different for different brushes, these paints have a built-in wax. So when you put them on, they go on very smooth. They're almost self-leveling. So if you want something to have almost a sprayed look, which is how the grey cabinets did look, they actually look like they could have been sprayed, use something like a Frenchic. Like I said, I've used others, I've used Rust-Oleum, didn't give the same finish. I found, and this is not sponsored by Frenchic at all, but if they did want to sponsor something in the future, this is the best paint. I have ever found. The first day that I used a Frenchic paint on a cabinet, I was shocked, to say the least. It looked like it had been sprayed. It went on like silky smooth, it settled, it self-leveled, and you literally did not know that had been brushed. But the trick is with it is thin coats. So literally just on the edge of the brush, brush it on. The first coat will look like, oh my god, this is not going to cover. The second coat, you're like, oh, it's covering. And for lighter paints in the Frenchic range, you will need more coats. Like I said before, with white, I did use a primer for it because it would have taken so many coats to cover it, especially if you're going on like NDF, which I did with a fireplace. If you're going on white, it doesn't make any difference, but if you're going on a colour that's other than white, you will need more coats. But the darker colours, the Hornblower, which is a beautiful navy, so nice, so nice. If you look at my home Instagram, you will see some cabinets I did in the Hornblower, absolutely beautiful. My favourite white is the Whitey White, which I would have done on this had I been able to go to tin. The greys is smudge, beautiful. If you're going to go for a black, then I would turn around and say go for Loof, yeah. So if you want no brush strokes and you want it to look like it's being sprayed, Frenchic all the way. Not cheap, it's about £18–20 tin for, I think this is a litre, no, 750ml. But it goes so far, so far. I mean, I think I did almost my entire kitchen with one tin. But it was a dark colour, so it only needed 2 coats. And there's lots of other stuff. My cabinet behind me, that's smudge as well. So, airbrushed, Frenchic. Now, I didn't. I used the Layland Primer and Layland Fast Drying Satin for these cupboards. Now, when I look at them, are they as smooth as the Frenchic? No, they're not. But I would say you've got to look pretty close to find the texture. The reason being is because I did the final 2 coats with this brush. Now, most people would have these. This is a Harris synthetic. Harris, fantastic brand. Screwfix, you get them from. Really good quality for a really good price. So if you're doing walls and that kind of paintwork, Harris brushes all the way. They don't shed. They give a really good finish. But when you're doing woodwork and painting cabinets, I know there's many trade people out there that would use this, but you know what, they've got more experience than I have. So as an amateur painter, I would say go for, like I said, it doesn't have to be a Frenchic one. I'm trying to think, Annie Sloan do an oval brush. I think Fusion do an oval brush. But these are ones I've been able to get hold of. And these Frenchic ones are really good. And the reason these paint cabinets so well, so when I did the primer, you did see the little texture of the roller, a little bit, not much because it was a really fine roller, really fine sponge. Finer the sponge, the finer the finish. But this, as you can see, you can see it, that is really densely packed. And if you can see by my hand, this is quite a wide brush as well, but densely packed. This is what gives you the best finish. So even though I'd rolled it first, I used this, and you can barely see any texture on the cabinet. Like I said, not like the airbrush, like it would have been with Frenchic, but this, because it's so dense, a bit like the roller being really fine sponge, the denser the brush, the smoother the finish. That's why these synthetic brushes, lovely, but they're not very dense. They are quite an open bristle. These, if I did that, that is a dense brush. Because obviously when you put paint on it, it does clump together. does, you know, pull the brush together because the paint pulls the brush in, and it makes it super, super, super fine. And I would say when you're brushing it, which is another thing that was in the video that didn't record, brush it in all different directions when you put it on first. Then the final, once you've covered it, then drag the brush gently in one direction, and then the paint settles and you get a really, really good finish. So that is my tip if you are painting anything. Cabinets, without a doubt. But this kitchen, you know, a couple of years time, it's not going to be here. It's given me a good enough finish, and actually, as you look at it, if I turn the camera on, you know, but I don't want to spoil the end result. If I turn the camera on it, you would not know that it had been brushed or painted, because it looks really uniform, really smooth, good coverage. So roller first, definitely brush after. So that's it. Back to the bits that did record. That's it. Things are finished. The painting is finished, not things are finished. Don't know if you can see. Do you see a red mark there? I had a little bit of a bump on the head. So I think I'm going to attribute that to why I'm not getting my words out at the moment, and this is probably the 5th take I've had to say this. I was putting stuff away in the cupboard, and it's like a storage cupboard for all like DIY bits, and there was a plank of wood in there, and it fell, hit me right on the head. I wasn't filming, obviously, but if I did, I would have put it in, but I wasn't. So, like I said, everything is finished. It's painted. Well, everything is painted anyway. I've put the handles back on that I can. The doors are outside finishing, drying off, and then once they dry, can the handles put back on, I can hang them back up. So that is, like I said, the paint finished. So, cupboards are finished. The doors are back on, the handles are being replaced, but that's not the end. So, what have I got left? Well, this window ledge here needs, I would say replacing, but it's not. That's how it's always been ever since we moved in, but I've got an idea for there to put a proper window ledge on, and we've got the wood for that, because where there's a surface, it can be styled. What else have I got to do? Some shelves are going just past this cooker hood here on the side, and of course some styling. Ooh, it's the bit I'm looking forward to. I've already got some really good ideas. I've got some bits already, some bits I need to still buy, so that's an excuse for a shopping trip. So in next week's video, you're going to see me doing the shopping for the styling. You're going to see some of the ideas that I've had that have brought me to those purchases. And obviously you're going to see me style this up. And also, I'll be talking you through my next project.